The most honest devs in Gacha gaming.
Just released news on their latest set of quality of life updates. And it's safe to say that they're absolutely amazing.
I think it is insane how when you take a look at Wuthering Waves, the biggest thing that's holding them back right now as a company is the straightforwardness and the honestness, which is something that players have been asking for forever. And now that we've gotten it, it's gone completely underappreciated. Because with how generous they're being with all their polls, with how straightforward they're being with the community, with how they're actually telling people the correct answers and just saying, hey guys, we f***ed up, and apologizing. I find it insane how, well, the Rev report is pretty rough. I'm not going to lie. The Rev report is pretty rough. And I think we'd all agree. And the other thing is, the developers themselves agree. But what did they say? As long as we have enough to not die, we're fine. That's why Dong's the man.
Things like
It's also fake data. True.
echo presets between characters, a portable synthesizer for crafting materials, and echo display of stats in Sonata on drop. These are all features that have been highly requested by the player base, and they all work towards one simple goal: make Wuthering Waves a more enjoyable game. When the Kuro devs, Dong and Awen, told us during
Dong, my goat! My goat! A devs that tell us how it is. Imagine that.
1.3 reveal livestream that they've been listening to our feedback and that they want more, they weren't lying. Every single time these developers open their mouths or type on their keyboard, they're telling the truth. They genuinely want to make the game better. Looking at the track record of Kuro games across the lifetime of Wuthering Waves, it's been nothing but clear communication, complete transparency, and fulfilled promises to the player base. Even when faced with the harshest critiques, they make it better. It's the complete polar opposite from what we've seen from games like Genshin Impact.
True.
After we all saw Dewey cry live on stage,
Dude, Dewey crying on stage, releasing Natlan, and then 5.1 being a filler patch was insane to me. Saying that we listened, we want to make our game better, and then they filler patch immediately after. What a bunch of fucking fake fuck crocodile tear display, bro. Pathetic.
lamenting the state of his game, many expected Genshin Impact to genuinely get better. When the Genshin community saw the version 5.0 teasers, there was a lot of excitement for all of the new features getting added to the game. Things like a custom artifact selector, new exploration mechanics, and summonable pets. The problem, however, was that the integration of all these new mechanics was a complete joke, with many restrictions and unnecessary FOMO-fueled strings attached. And players didn't find out about any of these problems until the version was live.
Oh, I wonder why that is. Yep. I wonder why that is. It's like when you go to a store and they say, hey, we're giving away a free TV. Come get it. Then you get to the store. Free TV with the purchase of a new car. Oh, what do you mean, man? It's the same thing. Fucking scam, bro.
Ask yourself, why did Hoyoverse hide so many details about the update that was worth the CEO himself crying over? There's a reason why a majority of Kuro's 1.3 livestream was dedicated to quality of life updates and improvements to the game. They were proud of their work and wanted to show it off in depth, and they had full confidence that their implementation would be well received by the player base. That's what happens when you listen with the full intent of making real changes, with no ulterior motives. And once you understand this, you can see the reason why Hoyoverse consistently does the opposite when it comes to the reveal of their, improvements to the game. Today, we'll be diving into why this is the case, breaking down the stellar track record of Kuro games over the past 4 months, how and why it differs so much from the embarrassing behavior we've seen from Hoyoverse as they've entered Natlan, and how this dynamic impacted and will continue to impact the Gacha community as a whole.
Because the majority of Genshin Impact player base is a bunch of dumb children that actually don't know what's going on, that have become so blinded with their obsession for this game due to the pandemic that they can't fucking stop. And rather than make changes to the game, they just make you think that changes are coming. Rather than give you the content you want, they make you think the content that you want is coming. It's the same thing as the world today. I would rather have people think that I'm really good than actually be very good at anything. Because perception's reality.
Ignoring player feedback is bad, but claiming you listen to feedback while doing less than the bare minimum in your integration, that's worse. That's an insult to your players. As always, if you're enjoying this content, please hit that like and subscribe button. Genshin Impact players have had it pretty rough for the past few months. With the emotional or completely planned outbursts from Dawei across the pre-launch of Natlan, many players were convinced that version 5.0 was going to change the game completely. They saw previews of convenient new exploration mechanics, exciting integrations of pets, and even a customized artifact selector. It genuinely seemed like Hoyoverse wanted to make Genshin a better game. Unfortunately, all of these features were either complete fluff or so poorly integrated that their implementation was an actual insult to the player base.
Man, I can't believe they did this. The first time in 5 years they ever did anything like this. But don't worry, guys. They'll never do something like this ever again. It's probably just a one-off. It's probably an oddity. My Hoyoverse would never do this again.
Exploration mechanics locked to a single region out of the 6 on the map. Pets that are only used to solve exploration puzzles in that one region. A custom artifact every few months that still has the potential to roll like absolute doo-doo water. There's a reason why Hoyoverse didn't go into an in-depth explanation of these new features, because they knew their player base would not be happy with it. The question is, why develop new features that players are not going to like in the first place? QoL Games, on the other hand, has never pulled their punches when it comes to the details with their updates. Whenever these developers announce a quality of life update, a new exploration mechanic, or an optimization to the game, it's completely clear to the players what they're doing. When players complained about no echo experience or tuners, they cited that complaint in their developer notes and subsequently added a boatload of these resources to every future event in the.
And now my ass is sitting here playing Wuthering Waves with every character that I want, with a good, unique set on each one of them. And I still have 370 more rerolls that I can do at any fucking time. Like, oh, new set? Okay, got it. Well, there it is. Great. It's fucking insane.
The game, when players got a free Shangli Yao, a limited 5-star, and complained about the lack of character leveling materials, QoL again cited this complaint in their developer notes and announced multiple new events in version 1.3 specifically targeted to these resources. And when players complained about the clunkiness of swapping overworld characters to complete aiming challenges, again, the developers cited the complaint and then gave full details and a short preview of the new hover droid gadget that
Tectone, I have a question. If Hoyo's the same company, why are HSRZZ devs are better than Genshin? So it's the same company, but they're different developer teams. There are different people in charge of making the changes in their games. That's why there's a big difference.
directly solve this problem.
It's kind of like the same question where it's like, oh, okay, so if your brother's a dick, does that make you a dick? No, just because they're from the same family doesn't mean that they're going to be the same people. Right, so it all depends on who's been put in charge of running these games.
There's a reason why QoL is so vocal about.
And the thing with Genshin is they know that they already have their audience trapped because they all fell in love with it during the pandemic. It's a very rabid fan base, and they've already become successful by being, very predatory. So they have no reason to change whatsoever.
All of these new additions to the game. They know they'll be well received because these critiques are coming directly from the people who play their game. And that's why QoL dedicated a significant portion of their live stream to simply beg their players for more feedback. Could you even dream of a response like this from the Genshin devs?
Nope.
When you look at QoL's impeccable track record of transparency and listening, you can't help but look back on version 5.0 and all of its new features with anything other than disgust. Why create so much anticipation and hype across the player base by revealing highly requested additions like the custom artifact selector, but omit the fact that it's time-gated by a huge fraction of the calendar year? Why hide the fact that only Natlan characters can actively engage with the new exploration mechanics, as well as the fact that these mechanics are obscenely nerfed outside of Natlan? Why hide the fact that all of these new pets are mainly for puzzles and minigames, and not a meaningful addition to combat? The harsh reality of the
Because that doesn't make them as much money as possible.
these improvements is that Hoyoverse has been receiving and ignoring them for years.
41 days. You know what that means, guys? You have the chance of getting a complete artifact set with a new feature once every 200 days. That's right. You can make a whole artifact set once a year. Insane. Dude, after 4 years, you might have a whole team to fight the Spiral Abyss with.
And now that Wuthering Waves is released and has demonstrated they have devs who actually care about the players, now all of these features are suddenly getting added to the game. But they all come with massive...
And you know what's crazy? You get the right main stat, you get crit rate, crit damage, and it still goes on into all flat HP and flat defense.
Strings attached. Hoyoverse, from what we've seen in version 5.0, has a strategy focused around keeping information away from their players. They'll bring their community in with a juicy hook, claiming they've been listening to feedback, and then do a complete bait and switch by implementing that feedback in some of the worst ways possible, with a lot of it locked behind a credit card. When you look at all of these tactics from Hoyoverse, it's clear what their intent is. They're trying to make as much money as possible from their players, and they're using the bait of new quality of life features and the disguise of listening to make it happen.
And you know what's insane? We've gotten to a point where everyone has given up. Everybody gave up on Genshin Impact. Everybody. Because after all of these players got absolutely fucked by all of this shit, nobody even talks about it. They're just like, okay. Well, it could have been cool. I guess I'll keep playing. Nobody's talking about this shit. The people are just done. They're just like, all right, another disappointment is what it is. It's fucking insane, man.
That's why the new exploration mechanics might as well not exist if you don't pull on Atlan banners. That's why the artifact selector is obscenely time-gated with a nice little shortcut if you purchase the paid battle pass. That's why it took nearly 4 years for their weapon banner to have its pity reduced from infinite to 160. This company...
Yeah, you're welcome, by the way. Hey, boys. You're welcome, by the way. Where are my flowers? You are welcome. You are welcome for that change.
Is greedy, and they won't shy away from basically lying through omission in their version updates and probably lying about their actual intent with these changes to get their bag. When you compare this mindset to that of Kuro Games, it couldn't be any more different. The words of Solon, Kuro CEO, ring louder now than ever before. Love your game, love your players, and love your team. As long as you survive, that's enough, right? You can see these heartfelt words in play across every update Kuro has made to Wuthering Waves. You can tell these developers actually play their game and want to enjoy it as well.
True.
Hopefully, we can see this kind of transparent, receptive behavior continue to spread across mainstream gacha development.
Dude, I know this is so bad for me to think, but that made me want to go on Wuthering Waves and just E6 a unit, you know? And I know that's so bad for me to just do and for me to think, but man, the devs for Wuthering Waves are just so fucking good. It's so nice. I really like, I mean, dude, Dong's just the fucking man. They have not disappointed me yet since launch. And they're still going, man. They're still going. Hey, man, they got more revenue than Reverse 1999. They still got their head above water.
Developers. Genshin, like we've clearly seen, is making updates
Maybe the next character we really like, I just E6 it. We'll see.
To fix their game, pressured by the competition of Wuthering Waves. They just need to take the lies, deception, and obviously clear ulterior motives out of it, and actually start respecting their players. As always, if you enjoyed this content, please hit that like and subscribe button. Peace out.
Man, it's just crazy how much bullshit
Bro,
people...
this new arcade game in Z's is stupid as if I can't beat stage 3, it's Provosk issue. I love the pod, keep it up.
Hold up. What does Fob's take? Fob's take on what?
Right? And I think far too many times people find fuck-ups and fix as, oh my god, they're good. Which is like, no, that's not what it should be, right? It's like with Wuthering Waves as well, they fucked up and gave us dog shit ass tacit fields, and then they implemented a fix. And now everybody's like, oh, let's forget the fact that they fucked up and they fixed it now. It's like, okay, how about Wua stops fucking up and then fixing, right? How about they just give us something good off rip, right? And that's why if you look at any other gacha game as well,
Hold up.
right, including Genshin, especially Genshin in the early days, right, a lot of the fixes and people were like,
Because the alternative to this, Fob, is a company that fucks up and leaves it versus a company that fucks up, immediately gets feedback, and then implements that. And then learns and has made better systems since those fuck ups. Fuck up, fix, and learn from is a lot better than fuck up and leave it.
oh my god, they listened. But like, did they really? Or was Genshin just fucking fixing something they did wrong, right? It was something they did wrong. So like, I don't want to like glaze a company too much when they clearly release something in ass quality and then they fix it. Because the fix...
It's also a big difference between a game that's been out for 4 months that fixed things that were wrong on day 1 on day 2. And this is speaking in reality. We have a game that released fuck-ups on day 1 and they fixed it on phase 2 versus a company that released shit fucked up on day 1 and haven't fixed it on year 5. That is the only alternative. There is no other game to compare Wuthering Waves to other than Genshin because there are no other gacha games on that scale. And that's why. Now, we can go fully pessimist and say, fuck them all, which is what I'm assuming Fob is doing right here. I can't really tell what he's really fighting for right here, but we have 2 options. And one is clearly trying and listening a lot more than the alternative. Like, there is still shit in Genshin that's not fixed. For Wuthering Waves, I go on and I'm very, very, very content. But yeah, that's why. Because fucking up, fixing, and learning is better than fucking up and leaving it. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what y'all think.